So that I will do that later. But I was talking about this website, python.org website. And if you want to know about Python, what Python is, you can click on about and it will tell you about Python. So Python is a programming language, okay? And of course, these are the features of Python. It's powerful and it's fast, okay? See, the reason why it's becoming so popular is for multiple reasons. First reason is that it is easy to learn. So, you don't need to have programming background to learn this language, okay? In fact, the reason it became popular initially was non-CS people, non-computer science background people, okay, were using it and they found it very simple to use. Java, you need to spend at least like 2 weeks to start doing something. In Python, within a week, you will be able to start programming. Okay, it's so simple. It is fast, it is powerful. It is powerful because it's open source. Okay, so what happens when you make a language open source is the whole world, people will come and try to help you. In the sense, if you look at the people who work on Python in the Python community, is people spread across the world. Okay, and they keep adding new libraries almost every day. So if you want to do data science, you have a library here. You want to work with data analytics, you have a library here. You want to plot the graph, you have a library here. You want to develop a website, you have a library here. Okay. You want to do anything related to construction industry, you have a library here. You want to play with images, videos, you have a library here. So people develop those libraries, and these libraries are available for us to use for free of cost. Okay, so Python software is free. The libraries that people develop is totally free. So it has got so much of features and with almost no cost to you. Okay, so these are a couple of reasons why Python is popular. Python, we call it as interpreter language. Okay, this is another important thing that you need to know when you talk about programming languages. And by the way, what is programming language, right? So it's a language that we need to learn in order to communicate with machine or computer. Okay, so sometimes I'll use machine, sometimes I'll use computer. So when I use machine, treat it as a computer. Okay. Okay, so it's a language that we need to communicate. We need to learn to communicate with machine. And when I say machine, it is your computer, right? You need this language to communicate with computer. Okay, so computer speaks zeros and one, and we can't learn zeros and one. Okay, so we learn English, right? But you need a interpreter or compiler. Okay, I think we got dropped, but that's okay. So you need to have interpreter or compiler, okay, which will translate your Python code to machine learning code. Okay, it will translate your Python code to machine learning or your machine level code. So we call this as interpreter. Okay, so interpreter will take so there are two ways to translate your English commands to machine level commands. Okay, one way is called interpreter, other is called compiler. Interpreter does line by line translation. Compiler does entire thing at one go. So if you talk about Java, C, C++, .NET, they're all compiler based programming language. Okay, so whatever code you type in Java, let's say you have written 10 lines of code, and let's say you have error in line number 3, 5, and line number 9. So, you wrote 10 lines of program and you have 3 errors, okay, line number 3, 5, and 9, let's say. So when you compile it, when you try to run it, okay, compiler will tell you, oh, we found 3 errors in your program. It'll tell you line number 3, 5, and 9 has error. That's compiler, because compiler is trying to translate entire code into machine level. Now, when you use Python or R programming, okay, these are all interpreter based language. So now if you have, it does line by line compilation, right? So if you write 10 lines of code, okay, and you have error, let's say 3, 5, and line number 9, it will show you only one error at a time. It will show you line number 3 has error. You fix it, now it will show you 5. If you fix that, it will show you 9 because it's executing line by line. So it doesn't know what's coming after current line. So if you get error, it stops there. You fix it and then it moves ahead. Okay. So to work with Python, and this is what I want you to do today. Okay. So that you are ready with programming from tomorrow. So I'll talk about how to install software on your machine. Okay. So that you can work even offline. And then I'm going to talk about one more method, which is online programming. Okay. So you don't have to install any software. You just, like, say you are in your friend's place, or you have tablet, a phone, or you don't have much computer with you. In a such situation, okay, you can use what you call as Colab. Okay. So I'll talk about that in some time. Before, I'll talk about how to download Python. So this is the Python download tab. You go here, and releases are where your software will be kept for download. If you are using Windows, you can download it directly from here. If you are using some other OS like Mac or other OS, you click on these. Okay, so if you're using Mac, you click on Mac OS. And when you click on Mac OS, these are different versions of Python. So if you want to use the latest is Python 3.12. You need to click here and download it. Okay. So which city are you based at, sweetie? And what's your time zone? I think you're on mute. I can't hear you. What's your time?
Yeah. Sorry, I was talking on mute.
What's your time zone?
I'm in New York.
New York.
Like EST, yeah.
Okay, perfect. I know. I'll just send a note, okay, later. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect. So yeah, so you need to download and install Python 3.12. Okay.
3.12.
Yeah,
okay.
the latest one. You can choose older versions as well, but let's stick with the newer version. Okay, let's start with newer version. So I was telling that you can have multiple Python versions installed on your machine. Most of the software, when you try to install, and if they find that already a version of software is running, then it does not get installed. Okay. Right. So,
yeah.
So, like I'm just thinking, okay, let's say you have Word or Excel you download. Okay. When you download Word, Excel, right? And let's say you already have a version. Okay. And next time you try to install, okay, older version, it says that, okay, older version, you already have a newer version, and it will not allow you to install older version, right? And if you try to install newer version, it'll tell you that you have to remove the older version, then only you can install the newer version, right? So most of the software you can only install one version. You can't have 2, 3. Okay, forget about 3. You can't have 2 versions also. Okay, but okay, Python you can install any number of versions. Okay, you can have 3.12, 3.10, 3.9, 3.7. What happens? Let's say you're working on a project. Okay, it's in maintenance phase. Let's say. Okay, and this project was developed 5 years back, and 5 years back it was, let's say, 3.7. Okay, or 3.8 in the market. So when the project was written or was being developed, 3.8 was the latest, right? They downloaded 3.8 and they continued to develop 3.8. Okay, now you are working on that project for the first time, you're working, and then, okay, so you have to install 3.8, right? Now they tell you that, okay, you need to spend 50% time on another project. So 50% time on older project maintenance work and 50% time on the new project, which is getting started today, right? So that today's project is 3.12. Now, every version, the reason they have different version number is because there are some changes in them, right? They're not exactly same. They have some changes. So if they have some changes, okay, if they have something, some difference in them, okay, then obviously you can't run one version on another, right? So 3.12 will have new feature. Now, if I try to run 3.12 program on 3.8, it will not work. It will not be able to take new feature that has come in 3.12. Now, similarly, okay, what is there in 3.8, you might have made some changes to it. Okay, maybe you have added one extra value. So the program that was working on 3.8 will not, okay, I'm not saying that it will not, sorry, but there are high chances that it will not work on 3.12. There would be some changes, okay, and vice versa. 3.12 can't work on 3.8, 3.8 can't work on 3.12. So if you have already done a project and your focus is on adding more features, so you'll have to continue to use that version until you decide to upgrade to new version, right? Because upgrading to new version is not that simple, okay? You might have to figure out all the errors, fix it for 3.12. So the point I'm trying to drive here is that you might be working with 2 or 3 versions at the same time. So you need to install all the 2-3 versions. So when you install Python, okay, and what I'll do is I will click on installer here. My machine is Windows, so I'll download. I'll click on download. So meanwhile, while we talk, this will be downloaded. So I was saying that, okay, Python, when you install, okay, it creates what is called as virtual machine, virtual environment. Virtual environment is like a folder. So if you install the Python in a particular folder, that folder only is your Python home. That is where you can run your Python program. You cannot run Python program from anywhere else. Okay, understood? So if I download my Python in folder called ABC in C drive, I have to call Python from ABC C drive. Only then it will execute. Otherwise, it will not be able to find. Your machine will not be able to find where the Python is. So advantage of doing that, okay, there's some disadvantage because you have to go to that location to run Python. But advantage of that is you can have multiple folders, isn't it? So if you have to have 2, 3, 4 versions of Python, you create different folders, you install in different folder, and then you can connect to that folder whenever you want to run, let's say 3.8. You connect to 3.12 folder when you want to run 3.12. Okay, so that's called virtual environment where Python gets installed and that home we say Python home. The Python home is within that folder. So if you have to call the Python, you have to call along with the path. Okay. Okay. So this is about installation. So you just go and double click on it. Okay. Let me do it. So you see this Python install, right? And you can see my screen, right? Both of you. Install Python 3.12. Okay.
Okay, so can we do now or?
No, we're not doing it now. I'll send you a document. Okay?
Yes, sir.
I'll send you a document. I'm not going to, I just wanted to show you the first screen. Okay. And on the first screen, there's something that you have to do, one extra step you have to do. And I'll send you a document. Okay. So I'll send you a document which you can see and download and install. And tomorrow when we meet, you let me know if it was successful or not. Okay. If it was successful, great. We will continue to work. If it is not, then we will, we'll work to fix that. Okay. So when the screen comes up, okay, you need to check both the boxes. Okay. And then you say install now and then next, and it will install everything. Why these two? This you can easily see it's admin privilege. Okay. So, if you're doing some installation, things like that, you need that permission. But add python.exe to path means I told you when you install Python, okay, it gets installed in that folder and the scope of Python is within that folder. Okay, but when you say add to path, okay, that means you're making this path visible to entire machine. So now if you check this, if I do Python from anywhere, I'll be able to call Python. But the problem here is you can only have one path. So if you install multiple versions of Python and you keep giving path, add to path, only the last version of Python, okay, will be accessible from anywhere. So you can still access Python from anywhere, only the one whose path you have added to the environment variable path. So if you check this box, that path will be automatically added. Okay, so it becomes easy to find where your Python is in the future. Okay, it's not something, okay, it's something super important. Okay, we can even change it later. But it's always good that you check this box so that it becomes easier for us to handle Python later. Make sense? So check this box. I'll send you the document. Okay, so you'll have the document also. So you send it. Okay, I will send it. So when you check this box and when you run it, okay, Python will be available for everyone to use from everyone. Make sense? Okay, so yes, so install this software, Python software, and try to use it. If you have any question, please reach out to me. Okay, tomorrow when we meet, please reach out to me and we will make it work.
Okay, sure.
Okay, now what happens, okay, when you install, okay, I'll show you. I'm going to cancel it and I'm going to share my screen in just a minute. When you go to command prompt, okay, CMD, when you go to command prompt, okay, okay, so this is my command prompt, right? Now, if you add the path to the environment variable, okay, you can type Python here and Python will start, will be ready for you to work. If you have not added, if you have not checked that box, right, you'll have to go to the exact folder where your Python is present. Okay, and you go to that folder here, you go to that particular folder, and then you say here Python. When you click on Python, you will get triple angular bracket, greater than, three greater than sign. When you get this three greater than sign, that means your installation has been successful. When you see this three greater than sign, it means your Python has been successfully installed. First part done. Okay, so yes, so first thing that you have to keep in mind is installation of Python. Okay, now I'm going to do some program here. Okay, so I'll say here 3 plus 4 and you hit enter, you get 7. Okay, so you can start programming here on the greater than sign, 3 greater than sign. So 3 greater than sign is called as Python prompt. So what you get is a Python prompt and you can start programming on Python prompt. So 3 plus 4, you hit enter, you get 7. Okay, 5 into 4, you hit and output is immediately displayed. This is what I was saying, that Python is an interpreter language. Interpreted language means, it executes line by line. So when I said 3 plus 4 and hit enter, it did not wait for me to enter second line or third line, right? Immediately it gave me an answer. Okay, so that's called Python is an interpreter language. But thing here is, okay, programming here can be very difficult. So we need some good editor. Okay, we need some good editor where you can do the programming and then use this Python to execute the program. So editors are like your advanced notepad. Okay, editors are like your very advanced notepad, and that advanced notepad will be connected in the backend to Python. That's the advantage is you can, you can change the font, you can change the size, you can make it colorful, it can even suggest you what should come. The error messages are more user friendly. So there are a lot of features for an IDE. Okay. So for an IDE, I would suggest that you use PyCharm. And this is what I'm going to use. I'm going to use PyCharm only. So you can use PyCharm, or as I said, if you don't want to install any software, no problem, you can use Colab. So I'm going to show you those two softwares as well. So far, good. Any questions? Please stop me. Whenever you have any question, please stop me then and there. So far, we spoke about what programming language is, and we spoke about why Python is popular, and then we spoke about how to install Python, right? So these are the three things that we have spoken so far. Now I'm going to show you the IDE. Now, if you type, okay, what are different IDEs for Python? Now, okay, IDE stands for Integrated Development Environment. Integrated Development Environment. So it's a development environment, okay? So it's like an advanced editor, okay? Advanced notepad, okay? Or advanced Word document or notepad. So that's your IDE, DE, okay? Development environment. I means integrated. Why it is called integrated? Because it's integrated with Python. You don't have to copy, type here and then copy somewhere else and run it. Okay, it works with your Python. Now, if you look at the popular IDEs, you have PyCharm, and this is what I'm going to use. You have Spider, Visual Studio Code is also a good editor, and this is gaining a lot of popularity, especially in last 2-3 years. The user base for Visual Studio Code has increased. Okay, so you can try that. You have Sublime Text, Atom. Okay, but I'm going to use PyCharm. Okay, there are many such IDEs. Okay, some are free, some are paid, some are awesome, some are super awesome. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to download PyCharm. So PyCharm is developed by a company called JetBrains. PyCharm is developed by a company called JetBrains. And what they do is they create these editors, okay, PyCharm editors. So I'm going to type PyCharm download. Okay, so we'll go to this jetbrains.com. That's the company, and they say PyCharm download. Here, okay, when you look at it, so you will see two different versions of PyCharm here. First is called Professional Edition, PyCharm Professional. Professional is not free. You have to pay money. Okay, so depending upon how many licenses you use, okay, you need to give money, and you can download this for your use, and you can evaluate it for 30 days. So for lesson period is 30 days, and within 30 days you have to make the payment and get your license. If you do not make payment and get your license, your PyCharm will not work. Okay, it will stop working. But we are not going to use this paid one. If you scroll down even further, you see the black background. Here you have Community Edition. So remember, it is Community Edition. PyCharm Community Edition is for people to learn. It is for development. Now, it has all the features of your Python, enterprise. Okay, the reason it's free is because it supports development work, right? When you want to learn something, right? Right now, we want to learn here. We came here to learn, right? So this is okay. If you're here to learn, then you don't have to use Enterprise Edition. You can use Community Edition. But if you are using it to make any product, you're using it to make money, right? So it's okay, if you're making money, then you give me some money, right? So that's the funda it works, okay? So for learning and development, Downloading and installing Community Edition is perfectly fine. Okay, you will not have any problem or differences that you will notice between Community Edition and Enterprise Edition. Just that the concept is different. Okay, when you are making money, you pay us. That's the concept of the main one, Enterprise Edition. So again, you need to download it and install it just like any software. Okay, so download PyCharm and install it, double click and install it next like any other software. And if you have already sent or attached Python to your home location, path location by checking that box, then PyCharm will be automatically able to find your your Python location. Okay, can easily check the Python location. So you don't have to link PyCharm with Python. You don't have to link. But if you have not added the path, then you have to manually link it, which is also okay, not a big problem. Okay, so we have seen how to install Python, and we have just spoken about how to install PyCharm IDE. With me, everyone? I'll take some more time, okay? Okay, and then we will end. I need maybe 15 minutes more. So once you installed your PyCharm, it will look something like this. Now, don't go by color, font, okay? Because I have changed it for our training purpose. So my font is bigger, color is more colorful. Okay, you may not find, okay? Let me first share and then talk about it. This is the PyCharm that I have. Okay, so first thing that you will notice is that the screen color is white. I have converted into white color. Okay, if you type something, you see the fonts are bigger. So generally your fonts will be smaller, but that's okay. If you want, you can edit it or you can leave it like that. Because I use it for training, so I have to show it in a bigger font and something that's easy to visualize. So if you type something on black, it doesn't come out well. But if you type black on white, it comes out really well. Okay, so that's why for training I use white background. Okay, so you can use PyCharm like any other softwares. I'm going to send you documents, so please watch and download PyCharm. Okay, now when you download and install PyCharm and you open the PyCharm for the first time, okay, let me click on new project. So when you start your PyCharm for the first time, you will get a screen something like this. Okay, you'll get a screen something like this. Now here PyCharm Python path is all. Can you see it? Let me see. No, I don't think you can see it. So you'll get a screen like this. Okay, so this talks about first thing, the location where you want all the files to be. So you can create a folder and link that folder. That means all the programs that you will be doing in future will be saved in that location. Then you need to have virtual environment location, Python location. Okay, so if you have multiple Python, this is where you will drop down and select the version. So if you have multiple versions, okay, you will select from here. If you have multiple versions, then you will select from here and you say create. I'm not going to do that, but you can say create. First time when you do it. So when you say create, okay, it will open a screen like this, but maybe different color of background and text and things like that. The default color is black background, okay? So you'll get a black background, okay? So your window will open here and all the this is your, okay, so this window will be of 3 parts. Left side, you have File Explorer. You can explore the file here. These are the files that I have created before. Right side is the editor where we will write our program. Okay, so we will write our program on the right side of the screen. And bottom you have is for output. When you want to see the output, okay, you will run the program. And this is where actually you will see, okay, down below Okay, you will see the output. So you have file explorer view, editor view, and output view. Output view also has few other tabs, which we will do as we go along. Okay, so I don't want to talk about a lot of things on day one. Okay, just think that here you have output screen. All clear so far?
Yes, sir.
Any question?
No, sir.
No? Sweetie, any question for you?
No, you're gonna share the documents for
Yes,
this.
I'm going to share the document and it might have links to the video also. Okay, so yeah, hopefully, you should be able to download it. Okay, so yeah, and if you're facing some urgent issue, you can send a message to Ram and he will then share with me. Okay, so we can address it immediately, but more or less tomorrow, okay, first 15-20 minutes, you guys take control and I can show you on your machine how to install if you are facing any problem. Okay. But prefer try to install it after the session today so that from tomorrow we can focus on programming itself. Okay. So with that knowledge, let's first see few lines of code. Okay. I'm just going to show you few lines of code and we will end the day. Tomorrow we'll meet half an hour earlier than today so that, we can spend because I've got another session which is like in advanced stage of Databricks and data analytics, which might take a couple of weeks to finish it off. So that's why I wanted to finish off, like take 1.5 hours every day, and next, 1 month we should be able to wrap up completely Python. I've not spoken about the syllabus, right? So see,
No.
so yes, so here, okay. Now this is how you write a comment in Python. So there are two ways of writing comment in Python. One is you give a hash and you write something here. Now comments mean, okay, comments mean, okay, mean that you are asking computer to ignore. Okay, so comments are text that is mostly for us. Okay, so let's say you have written a program, okay, today, and you are asked to work on that program after 1 year or 6 months. Now, when you start with the program, you will have forgotten what you have done there. What you did 6 months back or 10 months back, you will not remember. You may not remember after 1 month only, okay, because your focus is somewhere else. So these comments will help us to understand what we did, why we did, and comments are important. Okay, so comments help. Now, you might have done something and left the org. Somebody else have to come and work on you. Maybe you got promotion, you got a different department, whatever, but somebody has to work in your place, isn't it? That person should not get confused of what you did. So comment, okay, is a good way to write about what you are doing in brief. Okay, now you don't have to describe in like a storybook, but like in a brief, so that person who is working on that in future, they have a notes, okay, which they can refer before working or be able to understand how, okay, that thing was developed. So we call them as comment. Comment can be, okay, single line or multi-line. So comments are something that is ignored by machine, but designed for human being. Okay, developers will write for themselves or for other developers. So comments can be done in one way, like hash that we have done in line number 5 and 6 here. You see in Python, will also show you the line number for each code. So in 5 and 6, what I just did is called single line comment. Okay, and then you have multi-line comment. Multi-line comment means the comment can go into multiple lines. The comments can go into multiple lines. I can write one comment, then another, then another, then another, and then another. You can keep on writing everything under triple quotes. Remember, it's not single or double, but it is triple quotes. Okay, so you'll have triple quotes for writing comments. Okay. I was talking about something and I forgot. Okay, no worries. So, okay, so these are your comment and I can write multiple comments here. Okay, multi-line comments, you can write multi-line comments here. So first thing that you're going to do today, okay, is called print. This is the first thing that we are learning. This is the first code that you are writing in Python, is print. So what is print? Print is a function. Okay, so remember, we are now introducing first concept called function. What is function? Function means, okay, that, okay, it has to do something, okay, obviously, but what it has to do is predefined. So for example, print function displays the content on the screen. Print function display the content on the screen. So somebody has already written the code for us. Okay, somebody has already, now when I say buy, for example, when I say buy, you know what buy means, correct? Buy means, okay, that we need to leave and go our ways, our own ways. So because somebody has taught you what buy means, right? Same thing with function. Function is something that is already been taught to Python. Okay. So Python is, functions are something that has already been taught. So in case of Python, it is predefined meaning. Okay. So it has a predefined okay. So predefined. So if I put something in the print, that will be displayed onto the screen. Okay. So if I say inside print, okay. So one thing is predefined meaning, right? Now in Python, okay, your codes are case sensitive. Okay. Python commands are case sensitive. Case sensitive means there's a difference between small letter case and capital case, right? Lowercase and uppercase. So print is not same as print, correct? That's what Python says. So when I say print, all characters have to be lowercase. So when you say print, all characters, okay, all characters have to be lowercase. And, okay, so that is one thing. The content on the screen. Functions have this after the function name. So one way to know that print is a function is because you see this. Okay. So now when you see a name for the first time, okay, and you don't know whether that is a function or not, you see what comes after that. When you see a bracket open and close, that means it's a function. When you see bracket open and close, it means it's a function. So print is a function we know because there's a bracket open and close after print. And what does it do? It displays the content on the screen. That means whatever you write inside the bracket, that is displayed on the screen. How do I display it? So this is the file. Okay, so how to create a file? When you create a project folder, right, and you give a folder name, it'll connect to that folder and you'll get a screen like this. Then you go to file and you click on new, not the new project, okay, new, and then you select Python file. Remember to select Python file. So you say new Python file. And when you say click new Python file, okay, a blank Python file like this will be open and you can name it. Okay, you can name it some, whatever you want. I have named it P18 for or P1 in this case, right? I have multiple files. So that's how you get a file. Okay, file new Python file, file new Python file. So I've created P1. Okay, and in P1, I've written this one line of code. All these are comments. So all these will be ignored by Python. What is not a comment is print 5. So now when I run it, so I'm running print 5. So you see, you get 5 onto your screen. So whatever you are writing or writing within the bracket is displayed onto the screen. Now what I'll do is I will say print 5 plus 3. Now, when I say 5 plus 3 and when I run it, see, it has evaluated and returned 8 to us. Okay. So whatever you give within the bracket will be evaluated and displayed to us. Whatever you give within the bracket will be evaluated and displayed on your screen. Now let's see one more magic, and that will be our last command for today. I'm saying print, okay, bracket, so that's the function. Now I'm going to say 5 plus 3, but this time I'm putting this in a single quote, single quotation, right? Inverted comma, that's what we call, right? Single quote. Okay, you can say single quote or you can say double quote, doesn't matter. Output will be saved. But if I'm using double quote, the starting and ending should be both double quote. If you're putting single quote in the beginning, then the ending quote should also be single quote. I cannot say that. See, I said you can give anything, right? You can give either single quote or double quote. Okay, but the caveat is whatever you start with, same thing you have to end with. If I start with single quote, I have to end with single quote. If I start with double quote, I have to end with double quote. And now I'm giving 5 plus 3. Now, when you run it, what happens? So when there's no quotation, it evaluated 5, so nothing else, so it gave 5. But when you say 5 plus 3,
Like,
it evaluated.
when we should use the single, double quotation or no quotation, how we know that?
Correct. So I'm just telling you that, right? If you want it to be evaluated, if you want to evaluate, now it's like this. If I ask you, what is 5 plus 3? I'm asking you, what is 5 plus 3? Answer me. Nothing to do with Python. I'm just asking you. What is
Yeah.
5 plus
Okay. 8.
8, right? Now see, I'm
Yeah.
saying what is 5 plus 3? I'm expecting an answer from you, right? So you
Yeah.
say 8. So this, in such case, you don't put quotation. Okay, when you expect Python to answer you, you don't put quotation.
Okay.
Now I'm
Okay.
saying you this. Repeat after me, 5 plus 3.
5 plus 3.
Now in this case, I'm not asking you to solve. What did I say? Just repeat.
Just,
Now,
yeah.
if I say junk also, you're repeating junk with me. Okay?
Yeah.
So this is where you will use single quote or double quote. There is no difference between single quote or double quote. Absolutely same output.
Okay.
Okay? There is no, and later we will see when to use one another. But for now, I mean, not for now. There is no difference at all. Okay? Only thing is, if you start with single quote, you have to end with single quote. If you start with double quote, you have to end with double quote. Okay? So,
Got it.
so if you want something to get repeated, okay, then you will use quote. And if you want Python to evaluate, give you the answer, then you will not use quote. Okay. So one more example, since you asked that question. Now you see, and you can pass any number of values. We call it as parameters. Any number of values within print. Now, how do you know how many values I have added? Look at the comma. Okay, so what I'm doing now, I'm saying 5 plus 2 into 3 equal to. So what did I do? I put 5 plus 3 into 3 equal to, and this entire thing is in the quotation, right? So when I run it, it's like saying repeat after me, correct? It is like saying repeat after me. So it has repeated after me, exactly same thing. Now I'm going to add second set of value, okay? 5 plus 2 into 3. What do you get the answer? What is the answer? 5 plus 2 into 3?
21.
No. First, multiplication, BODMAS rule.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Sorry.
6 plus 5,
11.
11, right? Yes.
11.
So now I have not given quotation. So what it will do is, it will give you the answer 11.
11, yeah.
And these two has to be separated. If you don't separate it, it will assume that this isn't together. It is one value, which is not right. Okay, so if I don't give comma here, so it will think entire thing is one value and does not make sense, does not make any sense. You get syntax error. Syntax error means you have not followed the rule.
Okay.
Okay, so in our natural languages, English or whatever language, you can treat syntax error like grammar error, grammatical error. You have not followed the grammar rule, grammatical error. So syntax error is you have not followed the rules of programming. So when you're giving multiple values together, they have to be separated by comma. So, okay, so these two together makes no sense. There's nothing like this. Okay, but if you say comma here, then it makes sense. Okay, so first value is in quotation. You want me to display this, okay? I'll display it. Oh, second value, you are asking me to solve it. I will solve it. I can extend and I can add something like this. And 4 into 3 equal to, comma, 4 into 3. Now when I run it, you see, and 4 space 4 into 3 equal to, as it got printed because we give in quotation, and 4 into 3 equal to got printed as it is. Then after
Yeah.
comma, I said 4 plus 3, so you get 12. So here I'm handling 4 different values. First one is repeat after me. Second one is this evaluate. Third is again repeat after me. Fourth one is evaluate. Okay, so we will stop here for today. Okay, I want you to download Python, install it, download and install PyCharm, and do at least these 4 or 5 lines of program. And tomorrow when we connect, we'll make sure that your software is installed perfectly on your machine, and then we will work on it further. Okay, we will learn more tomorrow. Any question, any feedback? Do you want me to give any feedback like fast, slow, or you want me to explain differently or whatever? Do let me know.
So, like I'm getting the way you are teaching.